How we doing? It's Friday. Just adjusting my camera for a second. How are we today? It's pretty dark today. Pretty dark and a bit gloomy, a bit rainy in not so sunny San Diego. But happy Cinco de Mayo. How are we doing today? It is indeed Friday, the 5th of May, where I reside. I know we get a lot of people from Australia and New Zealand, which is your Saturday morning. But how are we doing today? Eddie says, "Hi my friend, this is Eddie from Dudley, UK. You're helping with my anxiety and life-shortening diseases. Bless you." Well, thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you. So kind of you to say. So pleased that my work's helping. Appreciate that. Very, very kind indeed. Rosa is here. Welcome, my friend, as always. And you actually say this. That's so kind of you as well. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. I love helping people. Superstar Nicole is here as well. Oh, sorry, wrong one. There we go. Superstar Nicole. I mean, Rosa, you're a superstar as well. So wrong superstar. My bringing up the comment had an issue there. I am doing wonderful. I feel really, really good. I didn't manage to go for a long run today. Got just 2.5 in. But that will do. Superstar Tanya is here saying hello, hello, hello to you. Great to have you on the stream. Karen is here saying, "Hi Joseph from Canada, absolutely love your app." Well, thank you, Karen. Whereabouts in Canada are you? Have you reviewed the app? If you could, that would be so, so kind. It's easy. You just go, you go there. That's where you go. That just means your kind words will also hopefully encourage others to be able to download all the free work. Now, I was just looking here. I thought, oh, what a countdown's on. I'll just check how my app is working on my iPhone, not the Android. And look at this. Ready? I don't know if you can see this. That's a bit bright. Where I want it to see. Where do I want it to see? Where do I want it to see? I wanted to see a bit more detail in that, please. I'm not very good at this. You see number 1 there. But there's more writing, I can assure you. I don't know how I could do that. Is it because it's just too bright? Is it too bright? It's too bright. It's too bright. But actually, I'll just read what it says then. 13 years ago. Episode 1, 13 years ago. I've been doing podcasting for 13 years. 13 years. And we've got 800 and something episodes. 13 years. I think it might be even younger because I was on another podcast platform, I hosted platform for probably another bit in a year or 2. So it's crazy. MZ is here. Welcome, my friend. Great to have you here. Michelle is here as well. Driver is here. Lots of rain in Cambridge too, but lots of sun in between. So if you didn't know, which you wouldn't have known, me and Claire Driver went to school together. And I'm looking forward to seeing her when I am back in Cambridge this month. A fellow runner as well. Great to have you here, Driver. Another superstar all the way in Sydney. So good morning to you on your Saturday. Well, Sydney's 8 a.m. is it? Med is here, all the way in London. Welcome, my friend. Leah, all the way in Australia as well. Catching your Saturday morning stream. So thank you for taking time out on the weekend for those in Australia. I'm doing good. Doing good. Hopefully the app is working well. Hope so. Invested a lot into it. It was a long time trying to fix it, but hopefully it should be fixed. And now, technically, I've got an app team to do all the work. So onwards and upwards as we go. That's what we want to do. Near Toronto. I've never been to Canada. Been close to Canada. I was up in... Where was I? Port Angeles. In the state of... Why can't I think of that? It'll come back to me. You know, the top state. Seattle is in... above Oregon. Seattle is in the state of... Why can't I think of that? It'll come back to me. But it was right near the top. We could have got like an hour or so ferry to get into Canada. But I didn't have my passport. Absolutely it is. Because Steph is here as well. Welcome, my friend. How you doing? It's been a while. Christy is here. Welcome, 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 welcome. How many downloads have I had on the podcast? We're almost at 14. A million. Not 14 downloads, 14 million. We're probably at around 13,600,000. So about 400, I think based on I last looked, about 400,000 away from a million. So we'll probably do that in the next month or two to get to the 14. So yeah, 14 million. It was a slow start, but consistency, be so consistent, results are impossible to be ignored. Modesto, welcome my friend, all the way on Facebook. It is a very cool name. I haven't seen the review yet. It hasn't popped up. It hasn't popped up. I've been looking for it. I can look on the back end of my app, but last time I checked this morning, it wasn't there. It usually notifies me. Washington State. But thank you, man. I appreciate it. I cannot wait to see it. Oh, you all got it. I'm behind. Washington. Yeah, I was up in Washington. Beautiful. Big trees. Lots of walking and hiking. Lots of rain. A bit like England. Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, the two kids are fine. Mr. C is sleeping. Sebastian is with his mother. In... Well, I'm not going to say in, but... in a different place. What percentage of downloads are iPhone and Android? Ooh, I don't know. It does log it. It does log it. I was actually looking today, like the real-time users. So right now, do you know how many people are just using the app, like listening to a hypnosis track? Right now, there's 75 people listening to who are on the app, listening to the app in this moment. All the way around the world. Got some people in Norway, England, of course, lots of states in America, someone in Australia, right in the south, in Melbourne, one in Auckland. So yeah, right now, 72 people are actually listening to a hypnosis track, which is a bit weird, right? Just on the app. But I don't know about the breakdown of Android. I don't really pay too much attention of stats because you get a bit obsessed. You're like, how many have I got today? I just trust that And actually, I can't tell really because yes, Apple's by far the biggest, as far as I can tell. Spotify is pretty good. Spotify is pretty good. But there you go. Hey Sue, great to have you here as well. Welcome all the way in Arizona. Hopefully it's nice and warm where you are. Oh my goodness, for the coronation. I don't even know what time it's on. Hey my friend, great to have you here. Welcome, thank you ever so much. Always a pleasure. Yes. Yes. Yes, I can. I can try and bring it up on screen if you want. I just want to make sure I'm not showing, like, important details, but, I don't know if this will work. If not, we'll do a quick in and out. Actually, I want to make sure. Because I've got, like, all my account details and, like, 100 browsers. This is in the last 35 minutes. Let's just see if this works. Okay, the button's not even working. Oh. Okay, the button. Okay, let's take the audio music there. Let's try and see this. See, it's got 77 now. Okay, I'm hearing sound in my voice. Is my audio... Have I knocked out my audio? Okay, let's see if I'm back. Can you hear me now? 1 2 1 2. Okay, I can hear my voice twice. Which is now really annoying because I can't do a podcast like this. One, two, 1 2. What about now? You see, I'm hearing my voice twice. It's coming through here. It's coming through the music. Well done, me. Oh. Oh, no, it's a huge delay. It's like a 10-second delay for me. So, let me switch things around. Let's see if I can do things on the fly. If I go to there, 1 2 1 2. Let me switch things around. Let's see if I can do things on the fly. If I go to... So it's coming out this device. 1 2 1 2. What about now? That's muting. On the fly. If I go to... So it's coming out this device. 1 2 1 2. What about now? That's muting. On the fly. I'm hearing myself 100 times right now. 1 2 1 2. What about now, Joseph? So no music today. So I don't know if you're hearing my voice a billion times, but I am. That's what happens when I try to get all technical. A billion times, but I am. Can you hear that? That's what happens when I try to get all technical. A billion times, but I am. It's like I'm repeating it all over again. But he says, okay, go out and back in to get rid of the echo. Left there, came back, so still no sound. Got sound back. I'm using a Rodecaster 2. And also my Stream Deck with all my fancy buttons. All my fancy buttons. But, I like music in my background. Which is very... See, if we had Kevin Michael Reid here, we would be able to fix this, or even Grimm. I wonder if I can route music in different places. Oh, no. Well, let's... Oh dear. I've lost all audio. Yeah, where is Kevin? Oh dear. I've lost all audio. Yeah, where is Kevin? If only I could be technical on the fly. Anyway, who needs music? Music. And also, by the way, I was using Firebase to show everyone. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, there's a custom mic. It's meant to sound like the classic Sennheiser, which is meant to be at like $1,000 or a couple of thousand, but I got it custom built to sound like it. But I like music in my background, so I'm going to get very specific. How do we do this? Sound like it. But okay. I like music in my background, so I'm going to get very specific. Well, what else can we go wrong if I keep messing with things? But okay. I like music in my background, so I'm going to get very specific. Well, what else can we go wrong if I keep messing with things? But I like music in my background, so I'm going to get very specific. Well, what else can we go wrong? Can you hear my voice, by the way? I'm hearing myself speak 1 billion times in my ears. What else can we go wrong? Can you hear my voice, by the way? I'm hearing myself speak 1 billion times in my... Okay. Mute music. Oops. So now I hear music. Okay, can you hear music? I can't hear music, but can you hear music? So as long as you can hear it, I guess, but that'll be... It is repeating. Okay, well, thank you, Emma. A legend at tech. I can't hear the music, but I'm going to trust you can hear it lovely jubbly. So I'll just go and I'll pretend that I'm hearing music in my ears. So I'll have to check that out after the stream. But thank you for those who asked to look at the thingamajig, because it crashed my audio. It crashed it. Okay. Turn that down. How about now? Double music, I know. Double music. No, I'm still hearing my voice. Okay. Well, no music for me, music for you, so we'll just have a quick reset of the music. I know it's all working, and just let me know in the chat. Oh, that's all good. That's all good. We can hear, you can hear music. So, we'll see what happens. I don't need music on this Friday anyway. I just get to hear myself in my head. But there we go. That music's way too loud now, isn't it? Okay, let's try that. Let's see what happens. So, welcome to the podcast. Recording very, very soon. So I go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I was just showing people on the screen about my stats of how many people are listening in this moment on the app. Turn off. If I turn off and on, I'm gone. I'm gone on the audio. I will not be here, and then there'll be trouble. But should we just get into the episode anyway? We usually start around this time. We'll go ahead and just get ourselves in the mood by going a little bit crazy over here. I think I will have to. You can hear that though. So it's Friday. Hopefully you hear the music good and well. And we will just go on with the show like I can hear. So this is going to be... Tanya is here as well. So Tanya, where are we on the episodes? Where are we on the episodes? I think it's going to be... Oh, by the way, very quickly. Very quickly before we start. We hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. 20,000 subscribers now. We just got it yesterday. So that's amazing. So what do you think about that? 20,000 subscribers, and I was just checking the audio just in case it just switched back. But 20,000 subscribers. We've hit almost 14 million downloads on the podcast, 20,000 subscribers, and 820 we think we're 820. You are right, Med. We were on episode 819 in the last episode. So thank you ever so much. We hit 20,000 subscribers, going live 3 times per week, and doing all these things really, and then kind of seeing what happens organically. One of my videos just hit over 100,000, and the comments are going crazy on that one, so that's amazing. So yeah, happy Friday, happy Cinco de Mayo as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the journey. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe at youtube.com/Joseph Clough. Subscribe, hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, and we're good to go. Just very quickly before we start as well, I have got those books over there. I have got those Milton Erickson books. If you don't know who Milton Erickson is, he is like the hypnotherapist who kind of really brought it into the modern world, from the stage to the therapeutic. Actually, if Sue's still here, he actually eventually lived in Arizona. Yes, hard work is paying off. We're putting a whole day per week into live streaming at the moment in terms of creation, editing, production, timing, all that stuff. So I don't mind putting the work in, as long as we are helping people. And we're getting about 2,500 people views on YouTube at the moment a day, which is nice. It's not like the 6,000-7,000 on the podcast, but we're definitely building up. But with that, let's get into this episode. If you don't know already, Mr. Cuddles just got up, so hopefully he'll be nice and calm. But we kind of do a bit of a pre-show, we do a bit of an after-show, and then in between, right here, right now, is the podcast episode where I won't be really interacting with the chat. So it will be going on to my podcast. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Someone else in either Australia or New Zealand, welcome, my friend. Great to have you here. New name, as far as I'm aware, so welcome to the live stream. How many people we got here? We've got quite a few on all platforms. We go live on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and maybe that's it. Who knows? But as we said, there's going to be episode 820. So let's get to it. Let's have some fun. I'm going to stop the music just for a moment, and then we'll go into it. And great to have you here, Joe. Happy Friday to you. So this is... Oh, wrong one. This is... we'll see if Mr. C is going to be on the stream soon. We'll go ahead and see after the podcast. We'll see what we can do about that. Make an appearance, get him to be a tax write-off. So, 1, I'm joking there if you are in the IRS. 3, 2, 1, turn the music, Joseph. He's around here somewhere. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 820. And today we're doing something a little bit different from usual, in a way that we're kind of just considering convenient mindsets that if you apply today will cause you to be able to have more freedom in your life, to be the person that you really want to do. Now, in my opinion, I've been thinking about, or like they're not mine, but I've been assuming these mindsets for many, many years. In fact, when I first became a practitioner almost 23 years ago, this is when I first began to learn about them. And these convenient assumptions, right? They're not truth. It is not a fact. These are just convenient assumptions that if you were to apply, would most likely allow you to live a better life in all areas, okay? So when it comes to money, when it comes to health, when it comes to abundance, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your career, interacting with people, it's a real good game changer if you do start to apply this level of transformation, because you start to assume them. So let's just go through a few of these in no particular order. But the first one that I really love is something which I think we do not have as much in this present day, whether it be because of social media, whether it be because everything's so political these days. You don't know if you're right or you're wrong, you don't want to upset people, or there's all these arguments. Well, the first one is to have respect for the other person's model of the world. Well, what is a model of the world? Well, it's ultimately your perception. Your perception of your reality, right? That's a model of the world. You have a different model of the world from me. You do. We've had different experiences, so we've come to different conclusions of what we think of life, what we think about politics, once again, what we think of social media, what we think of whether it be like religion, or whether it be just about career, relationships, once again, all of these things. We have a model of the world. So notice that I said respect the other person's model of the world. And I didn't say to agree. And that's what I think we've had a big problem with. Like, we're all in these mindsets of us against them. But look, we just come from different places. We come from different places. So it's important to respect their world, but not necessarily agree. And when you do that, you begin to understand where they are maybe coming from, rather than making judgments of a person, rather making judgments immediately based on their statement or their belief system. And once again, it could be if you're in a conversation with someone, when it comes to, say, an argument, or it could be just about anything, people you don't know. If you begin to understand that they come from a model of the world, that's caused them to come up with certain ideas about life, about anything, but we start to just dismiss it, that's where we're going to get tension. So when you begin to respect it and not necessarily take it on and make it your reality, like, in fact, throughout all the 800 plus episodes, I don't want you to just go, well, that's truth, that's truth, that's truth, because it's just my experience. I would like you to respect it, but you don't have to agree with it. So if I'm thinking about having conversations with people where we have totally different belief systems, I want to honor at least their model of the world, if that's their perception. You see, the more I understand about their model of the world, the more I can begin to bridge the gap. The more I can start to communicate differently. It almost comes back to intention, which we'll be going a little bit deeper into soon. So I'm not going to go right into it on this one. But if you understand their intentions by understanding their model of the world, or their model of their reality, their filter, you will start to then begin to meet them. And that kind of goes into the map of the world because Alfred Korbisky, and we talked actually about this, I think on one of the episodes a few weeks back, or at least, because it's, by the way, for those listening to the app or the podcast and all those things, this is being broadcasted live on YouTube. And I think it was maybe one of the after streams. And I was saying about Alfred Korbisky, and he kind of termed the map is not the territory. You see, what does that mean to you? If I just say the map is not the territory, what does it mean to you? Because it's hard to understand. But if we take it in the context of the map of the world, your map of the world is not everything. There's so much more to explore. There's so much territory out there that if you begin to recognize, actually, there's more for me to discover, more for me to learn, more for me to consider, it will allow us to start to go beyond our present map. But a lot of the time, we just operate from this fixed place. But I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, and that means I cannot achieve X, Y, Z. It means I can't do and achieve this goal, or because of my past, it equals this present situation which I don't like. Well, that's just the past. Yes, we may have come to conclusions, but there's so much more to explore. There's so much more territory out there to think differently. You see, your beliefs will start to cause you to generalize aspects of the world, right? If I go, I'm not good enough, and that just means all future opportunities I cannot go for. Like, I'm not good enough for it. I'm not good enough to get a relationship. Or if I've had one bad relationship, that must mean all future ones. So that map of the world is so generalized, or we could say distorted or deleted because of that experience that we've had, that it formulates this map of what we think is true, our perception. But in reality, the objective reality, beyond this subjective conclusion of reality, there's so much more to explore. Now, why is that convenient to have? Well, it means that you're always going to start to learn. You're going to always recognize that actually this judgment or belief that you have about yourself, which may be a limiting belief or a trait that you dislike, is actually just your present map. It doesn't have to stay this way for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be fixed in place. It doesn't mean that you have to be, I'm not good enough, worthy, deserving for the rest of your life. There's so much more to explore, and that's why I do what I do. I try to come up with different reframes or different learnings or insights based on my life to hopefully impart and help many, many people. That's what I just love doing. So if I start to come up with questions or ideas, it will cause you to challenge your own map of the world. So I really, really would love you to take that on, in a sense that your present map of the world is not true. It may be your present truth in terms of your present conclusion, but if you stay that mindset, you're always going to be locked in. And that's going to cause you to never go beyond your boundaries, beyond your present map. So recognize that the map is not the territory. The map of your world isn't the only thing. There's so much more to explore. Now, the other convenient mindset that I like to bring into this is that we all have the resources that we need. Even if we don't have them all now, we can learn them. We can create them. It is all about learning. It is all about adapting. When I wrote my book, Be Your Potential, the tagline was like you got everything you need ultimately within you. You got all the resources there. They may not be fully present where you want them, but recognize that you are full of potentiality. You are potential. And that if you are potential and you have the will and the desire, you will have the resources needed to get there. But yes, you've got to assume responsibility. Yes, you've got to take action. I mean, they're good presuppositions to have as well, right? To presuppose, to take good, inspired action, to be able to assume responsibility. But if we begin to find the inner resources of us, it almost goes into another mindset, which is the law of requisite variety. The person or the system with the most adaptability and the most flexibility controls the situation. Now, you being here today means that must be true, because you've adapted through traumas, You've adapted through your environment to still be here. So we should have gratitude that you are a survivor and a thriver of adaptability. And if we go on to the bigger picture of things, if we think of as a whole world, not everyone has survived, and not every species is still around that ever began or have been in the wild. They weren't able to adapt to their environment. But if we think about it, well, if I can have more flexibility, if I can start to develop adaptability, resiliency, resistance, it will allow me to go through many different scenarios, many situations. And that's something what I try to build into my character. I honestly try to do that. So I try to push myself to become more resilient, more adaptable. And it's something that I try to think about a lot. Like, how can I be more adaptable today? How can I be more flexible in this situation? Because if I get locked in and go once again, well, my environment is showing all this pain and trauma. That the economy is just terrible right now. And that must mean I can't get a job. Or if I've had all these bad relationships, it must mean I'm never going to get a good one. It's not going to serve you. But if you start to be adaptable, and it almost goes into what Einstein said, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is a definition of madness. Because that's not being adaptable. That's not being flexible to the situation. If you are going to thrive, have the mindset in your mind that you are going to be adaptable today, that you're going to start to seek the resources. I always say, you don't have to necessarily have all the resources now, but you have to have the resourcefulness to start to get them. Because you can start to be in a resourceful state of mind when you have the willingness to adapt, the willingness to grow as a person, and to allow ourselves to really get what we want. I really mean that. If you are more adaptable, you will become more resilient. And know that you are the definition of it, because you are alive today. And that means you've got what it takes to become even more adaptable, to be even more flexible. Now, the other thing, which I really wish, this is going to push some buttons, and it's something that I've got to work on myself quite a lot. And that is the meaning of your communication. You ready for it? The meaning of your communication is the response that you get. Think about that in conversations. If you are getting a response from someone that is not to your liking, that they're not understanding you, they're not getting your point of view, it is up to us to be flexible and adaptable to say things differently. Usually we go, well, you're wrong, or this is wrong. Why don't you understand me? Well, if you're in an argument or a conflict or in a conversation and it's not going the way that you want, it is up to you. That's why it pushes up against your boundaries, to start to be adaptable in your communication. So the responses that you get from someone is the meaning, and if you don't quite get the word meaning, it's the quality of what you're communicating. So it's up to you to start to communicate in a different way, to have a different level of quality. And then you do that, you will start to get a different response from people. And it allows us, and there's why it's convenient, it allows you to go into conversations without blame, without dislike, without the resistance, and it gives you total ownership of your communication styles. I've been in relationships in the past and the communication is off. Well, if I want to change it, I've got to assume responsibility that what's coming back to me is up to me to start to then feed in a different level. The other one is, I know we're just going through these genuinely, is that there is no failure and only feedback. No such thing as failure, only feedback. If you think of having that as a convenient assumption, you are going to be destined to win. If you just see every so-called failure as feedback to your experience to start to, once again, you'll notice there's a theme of adaptability here, you will start to change the results that you get. For example, it's a numbers game. If you take in the context of sales, and if you're a salesperson, you will know this. Good salespeople will just not mind about the no and get to the yes. They will know it is either yes or no. If they just get stuck on the no, they're paralyzed. They can't do it. So they realize that every no they get is closer to the yes. That is about adapting. That is about learning from that situation to work with the next person. And if you think of if all the successes that you see, throughout your life, whether it be in like movies or in entertainment or just in your life, they didn't just happen like that. They so-called failed many, many times. They may have been just putting in the work in the background, learning and adapting, and that causes them to grow even more. So you should be a part, I'm not saying should, you don't have to, of course, but you want to be able to go, I'm willing to be adaptable. I'm willing to be able to see a different level of communication. I'm willing to be able to have that resiliency. And I'm also going to notice that there is no failure, because that means I can only grow. If I can only grow, I can only transform. Right? Now, the other thing is when it comes to communication and other people is people are not their behaviors. And it's important for communication, but it's also important for you. You see, most of the time we think of anxiety, we think of fear, we think of worry, we think of the imposter syndrome, we think of not being good enough, worthy, deserving, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of success. We think that is who we are as a way of being in this world. We think that is our identity. You see, you go throughout life, you go through those experiences, that map of the world, and it comes to a conclusion. And usually we come to a conclusion about two things, either the world itself or our identity, right? So I went through all these situations. That must mean I am not good enough, or I am not worthy, or I am not deserving. And those situations can be told at school. It could be bad relationships. It could be a poor upbringing, maybe perfectionism, because we always had to be perfect. And we start to internalize it as our identity. But the truth of the matter is, that is a behavior. It is not who you are, right? So people are not their behaviors. And I would like you to go a step deeper into it and recognize the behaviors that you dislike, even when it comes to the behavior of not being good enough. I know it's an identity statement, I know it's a belief, but if we break it down into a structure, it's still a strategy, which then means it's a form of a behavior that we're operating. Think of the intention behind it. What is the intention of not believing we're good enough? What is the intention behind not feeling worthy? What is the intention by not feeling deserving? What's the intention of needing to be perfect? What's the intention of the fear of being found out? Well, it's going to be protection, right? It's going to be a mechanism of protection and safety. Even the behaviors we dislike. So if people go to drugs or alcohol, well, why do they do that? Well, it could be a form of escapism. It's not who they are. An alcoholic is not their identity, or a drug user. There's an intention behind as to why they do it. And it also allows us to go into in conversations and understand that. So if you have a problem with someone, remember, there's an intention behind their words. That behavior that is presented is not the real problem. It's just what's happening. The real truth is, if we start to honor the intention, don't have to agree. Once again, we can respect, but that's their intention. If you start to see people with their intentions, you will change the way you see every conversation you're going to be having, even the behaviors you absolutely dislike in people. For example, if people are, say, bullies, and I say that just because it's an easy one to go, oh, well, that makes sense, Sam. If people are bullies, they've usually had some form of bullying, right? And it causes them to get that way. Is it an identity? Is that who they are? No. There's intention behind it. Maybe they weren't taught the skills. Maybe they were bullied. All those things. So When you think about other people's behaviors, go back to their intention. When you think about your own behaviors that you absolutely dislike, from the identity, from our capacity, from our behavior, from what shows up in our environment, what is the intention behind why you do what you do? Now, the good presupposition behind that, or the meaning behind it, is it causes you to be in less resistance with your unconscious mind. So, for example, if you go, I hate not being good enough. I hate blushing. I hate that I'm self-conscious. I hate that I have the imposter syndrome. Now, although we may hate the behavior, the nature of having that hate, who are we directing that hate to? Ourself, our unconscious mind, which is running it. But as soon as you start to look through the dislike of the behavior that we're running and understand the intention, guess what happens? The unconscious mind starts to listen. It starts to go, well, now you get me. I'm doing this to protect you. And that means we're not in resistance. We're not in conflict anymore. We're starting to come back as one. So remember that people, including you are not your behaviors. There's always positive intentions behind it. Now, the other one is that you're in charge of your mind and therefore your results. To me, that's total ownership. I know we've been through many things, and I'm not letting other people off the hook. If we've been hurt, used, abused, whether it be physically, mentally, sexually, I'm not saying it lets them off the hook. What I'm saying is, if we give our power away to them, that's not very good at all. We've got to assume responsibility for what we do in this moment and use it as leverage at the very least if you need to. But you are in charge of your mind and therefore your results. Otherwise, we're pushing blame on everything else, whether it be the economy, whether it be our employer or our boss or the relationship that we're in or our past or people who passed away. We still may have a lot of stuff going on there. If we do that, we're just pushing it on them, or we're pushing it beyond ourselves at the very least, because it can be things like the economy. But if we start to assume responsibility, we're no longer on the effect side of life. We're no longer a product of life. In fact, as I always say, rather being a product of life, allow life to be a product of what you choose to create. And that comes from the absolute assumption of responsibility. I think when we start to live that way in terms of the adaptability, having respect for other people's model of the world, realizing your present map of the world is not everything, that's not who you are, there's so much more to learn and explore. And if you don't think that's true, well, you're here. You could be doing many other things right now, but you set the time out to grow your mind. Whether you agree or not with what I'm saying, you're still invested in learning and adapting. We've been that way ever since we were young. Always learning, always growing. There's always more to explore. So recognize that your map of the world is not everything, or there's so much more beyond your map of the world. To know that your mind and body is also interlinked. Right? Vice versa, body has an effect on the mind. And if you don't believe me, I think it's a few episodes back, I did an experiment with you, an exercise that made people go beyond what they thought was possible when it comes to their physical limits, just by doing something in the mind. So when you start to work on your mind, you're starting to work on the body. When you're starting to work on the body, you're starting to work on the mind. Like for me personally, running is as a form of therapy for me. It is so biologically good for you, in my opinion. Whether it be a walk as well for people or run. But exercise in general, you have to look after your body. Just don't listen to hypnosis. You move your body at the same time, and that's going to be doubling your mental health by doing so. Know that there's no such thing as failure and only feedback. You can't lose when you do that. The people are not their behaviors. There's intentions even behind what you do. And that means we actually connect with either people or we connect with our unconscious mind that bit more. And the big one was as well that the meaning of communication is the response that you get. If you're not getting the right response, then you need to start to assume responsibility in changing how you communicate. And let's add to that one actually, and that's this. People are at present using all that they have right in this moment, right? If they could choose differently, they would. For example, if someone is hooked on drugs, if they could choose differently, they probably would. For those who have limiting beliefs and not being good enough, if you could choose differently, you probably would. So when you start to see people, and there's why I apply this, because I work with lots and lots of people over the last 23 years, is that I know they're not choosing to act that way consciously. They're doing it because maybe it could have been way back in the past that it caused a certain belief and a certain set of feelings and behaviors which has led to this point right now. So if we think about their intentions, we think about their resources, they're trying to do the best that they can. That's my convenient assumption. I mean, like I said, it's not mine as such, but it's one that I choose to assume because it allows me to see people differently. You see, everyone was a baby once, right? And if everyone was a baby once, then we all started very much in the same kind of place. We could have different environments, of course, but if you've got conflicts with people, just for a moment, just see them that they were once a little child. They were once a baby. They have gone through certain things which may have led them to come to the conclusion or that behavior. So when you start to see them that way, it kind of just takes the pressure off. You start to see the world differently. So ultimately, they're just a few convenient assumptions. It comes from a lot of NLP. There's far more than that, of course, as well. But I like to think when I'm working with people, I'm trying to look for their intention behind why they do what they do. If I'm not getting the answers back that I want, I need to change my communication. I need to take assumption of my responsibility for my life. I've got to have respect for other people's model of the world and have to agree with it. But if I want to be able to enter a conversation, it's going to allow me to be able to enter it by doing so. I know that there's so much more to explore, that this present map of my mind is nowhere near done. There's so much more of the world to discover on the inner world. So I'm not going to get locked down into, well, this is all there is, because there's so much more. So ultimately, that pretty much concludes the end of this episode. I know it's been a little bit jumbled because there's so many angles we could approach it, but I believe if you do start to assume even just one or two, just focus on one or two. Focus on intentions one day. What are people's intentions? And you can go from lots of different situations. People in the media, people you dislike, what is their intentions? How do they come to that? What's the meaning of their communication, even if not communicating it in the way that you'd like? It just changes your relationship with yourself, with the world, and everyone else. So with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to speaking to you in a future one. Many thanks, and goodbye. And welcome back. Did my audio fix? Nope. What a silly thing. So, hopefully you're hearing the music still. It seems like it's going out on the monitors. It's a bit lower than usual, actually. There we go. Let's just get back to some of your comments. Exactly. We grow and evolve, our perceptions also change. Superstar Nicole says, I've adapted on this trip. We are all adapting to our environments frequently. Yes. I've communicated all different ways, and some people will always continue to be stubborn. So go back to their intention, I wonder. How do they come to that conclusions? Sometimes it's not about the communication, it's those people are stuck and become professionals in a certain mindset. Yeah, it becomes their identity, right? It becomes their identity sometimes. Driver says, adaptation is key, as well as the acceptance of others. Yes. We can't control others, but we can control ourselves. Exactly. And hopefully we can, like Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world, be the change you want to see in others. Hopefully we can do that. At the very least, you are becoming a better person by doing so. Exactly. Let's hope not. Here we go. And that's the other thing about assumption responsibility, of being able to walk away, right? It's okay to walk away. Was that on our last episode? I can't remember now. No, it wasn't. That was a hypnosis one. But recently we did one about, it's like, that's a level of responsibility of just knowing when to allow people to do what they need to do and figure it out. Flowing away is important. Letting go of that toxic are causing you pain. Yeah, that's assumption of responsibility, right? Hey, Eddie. Welcome, my friend. I actually welcomed you in the beginning because you left like a real kind comment at the beginning of the stream. So thank you, my friend. Great to have you here. It's really weird not hearing music. I feel just silence in here, other than my own voice going in my ears. Thank you, Nicole. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, hopefully, on our group coaching call. I hope you're having a wonderful trip. Good. I love it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, there are so much more which we could have gone into. For example, we did like the whole have respect for other person's model of the world, don't have to agree, but have respect. The map is not the territory. We have all the resources we need. The mind-body is linked. The law of requisite variety. The choice is better than no choice. I didn't say that one. We're always communicating. I didn't do that one either. Like 93% of all communication is unconscious. So 7% is words. The rest is our physiology and our tonality. The meaning of communication is a response you get. There's no failure, only feedback. People are not their behaviors. There's positive intentions. Everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they have available. You're in charge of your mind and therefore your results. And I'm in charge of my mind and therefore my results. And one we didn't do as well, we can achieve what we desire if we break it down into little strategies, which means we're not generalizing. And every behavior there is a positive intention. Thank you. I was a bit, not to say I was flustered, because I do like to test myself, but hearing silence, like I'm used to silence all the time. I like silence, but silence on live streams. Well, they're saying that on my group coaching calls, I don't do any music. So I don't know why. I felt I was just a little bit kind of here and there and everywhere, but also I don't have lists. I just kind of free flow. Maybe that's why. Thank you, Leah. Great to have you here as always on your Saturday. True. Yeah, if Luna, go ahead if you haven't seen it. I did a live stream on being more stoic, from Stoicism. That's going to be really helpful in the reframe if you want to go a little bit deeper into it. Exactly. A lot of time people don't mean to react in a negative way. They just have different focus. Yeah. Because we're performing, like I said, I believe people are performing to the best of their ability in that given moment. If we go way back in time, like if we go back to me at school at 11 years old, just about to go to secondary school from primary, and that's when my teacher made me stand up in front of everyone, pretty much said like the words, Joseph, if you don't know this mathematical question, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's when I started to feel all the dread, the anxiety, the focus on me, the heart palpitations, the dread, the anxiety, the worry, the conclusions that I'm never going to be anything in the world. I'm not going to go to secondary school. Like I just internalized, deleted, distorted, and generalized. But in that moment, my body was doing what it thought it was doing best, which was like the fight and flight to get out of it. And then it kept that belief system throughout school, not believing I was good enough academically. I mean, I only got 6 C's, the rest were D's, E's, and F's. Dropping out of college at like, which wasn't even, it was called an advanced business GNVQ. I can't even remember. GNVQ? I think I've just made that up. But maybe it was an NVQ something, or something NVQ. But it had all that trail, but in that moment, my body was doing the best that it could. There's an intention behind it. Once I started to understand the intention, I started to like almost metaphorically grow that part of me up to give me what it really needed. So we should do the same for others. Well, thank you, Superstar. Great to have you here. As I know you're not always here, but great to have you here, but also on the other program, being a superstar and all. Steph says, beautiful and so impactful as always. Thank you for an amazing stream. Well, thank you. That was episode 800 and something, 20. Awesome. Yeah, you check out the Stoic one. It was last Friday. It was a week ago. Yes, absolutely. So there we go, my friends. Should we test it one more time? That's what I'm hearing in my mind, if you hear that. So I turned it off. So I'm going to have a
bit of a talk with my machine. I go, why you doing that? Oi! Why you doing that? And then my machine will go,
I don't know. You press the button. And I changed everything.
And then I'll just go, oh, sorry. I do apologize. And we'll go from there. Yeah, there we go. Am I all out my funny voice? Let's just do a quick reset in case. There we go. Yes, have a lovely weekend. Thank you, MZ. Great to have you here as always. And Nicole. Oh, there we go, Nicole. Yeah, I'm going to have words with my computer. My interface, sorry. It's all the buttons, but something's gone wrong. I don't know why. It's all because of Med. You know when I talked about assumption responsibility? Well, I'm blaming Med. Med, I'm blaming you. I'm taking absolute responsibility in blaming you. No, I take responsibility. In fact, I said, I'm sure we're going to get into trouble doing this, so I spoke it into reality. Love it, yes. Some good Stoic questions in there. You have a good one, Med. Great to have you here. Can be, I guess. But we can just quickly have a bit of fun as well. Tanya, close your eyes. Close your eyes. And now open them. You can now open them. So now you don't like the pigeons. Some fishes. We're on the screen over here. We got some dancers. That does nothing. The screen has cracked. It looks like a root to me though. But there we go. Happy Friday, everybody. I can hear that in my ears. See, we all assume responsibility. Yes. Thank you, my friend. It wasn't so long ago. My whole screen broke and I couldn't see anything, so I just had to do everything on the fly. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's actually meant to be a cracked screen. That's what it said when I created it. I added it. But it does look like a branch. Uh-oh. Welcome to dun, 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 the Joseph Clough podcast. Welcome. Do. Well, there are a lot of pigeons, so Parsi Pigeon and his friends. Or Peter, wasn't it? Peter. But anyway, my friends, I will leave you to your Friday. I've got some work to do still. All fun work. And cannot wait to see you on Monday. Remember, I've got like 3 or 4... No, I've probably got about 6 to 9 live streams until I take a break away. Okay? And I'll be going to England, so I'll be stopping for a while. I've preloaded some hypnosis sessions for while I'm away. Stop the self-promotion, Mad. Stop the self-promotion. Otherwise, everyone would be promoting themselves. I know it's all for fun and stuff, but we gotta make sure everyone's going, check out this. Oh, we'll be missing you, my friend. We'll be missing you. Have a great one, Christy, as well. Yeah, great to have you all here. I cannot wait to be back on my Monday. Welcome you all. Great to have you always tuning in. I know we have all our regulars like Med, Tanya, Leah. I know you've been a bit more busy, Leah. Mina, Rosa, Christy. Forgive me if I haven't mentioned other people, but yeah, we get a lot of regulars these days. Joe as well. Yes, we will miss you. Thanks for being here, Leah. Hopefully you're doing good and great, and I'll speak to you all very, very... Sarah, I think last time someone said, I don't know if it was Mina or someone, said that Sarah may have got another job at the time. Oh, Michelle, of course. Yeah, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle. You're always a regular. It is coming to my mind. But yeah, I think Sarah got a new job scheduling stuff. Like her work hours were changed. Based on what I was told anyway, but that someone said that a long time in the comments. So that hopefully she's doing good and great. And also, of course, Grim, Kevin Michael Reed as well. I still speak to him pretty much on a daily, but Grim kind of shows up here and there. But, as always, it's a pleasure. So with that, my friends, I will speak to you all soon. Many thanks, and good